Still hanging out with these knuckleheads talking NBA basketball. Time to break down the young buck for your Toronto Raptors, the man in the middle. Jonas Valanciunas, as according to Charles Barkley, who could never get this guy's name right. But look at the numbers here in the last two performances. 18 and 15, 18 and 12. And in the last game, Dwayne Casey had young Jonas Valanciunas on the floor in the fourth quarter. So the first question I got for you guys is, has Jonas Valanciunas turned the corner on this season? It was a slow start. We always talk about the fact that bigs take longer to develop, but has he found his niche, his role, and his ability to contribute with this group right now, especially looking at those last two performances?
Can I say, first of all,
no, you can't.
I was at the Giants of Africa, the tribute to Nelson Mandela, the one-year anniversary of his death, and Charles Barkley was asked by someone in the audience, can you name the Raptors starting center? And he nailed it. Jonas Valanciunas in 2 seconds.
Right. Okay.
Nice.
So he got it.
Nice.
Anyway, JV's had a couple of double-doubles back-to-back. He's been amazing. I don't think he got off to a slow start, and I don't think he struggled. He had a couple of games where Joakim Noah had a really good game, and Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol had a really good game.
So he struggled
What
against
about Vucevic?
So he struggled
They
against
beat Orlando twice. These are very good players, and sometimes, you know, especially the Memphis guys, they had an advantage on Jonas Valanciunas when he's playing against the non-elite, the all-star level guys at that position. I think he's one of the top players.
So
at
he
his
struggles
position.
against the
Well,
all-stars.
no,
Everyone does.
Okay,
though.
but I'm saying, like, you're killing, you're killing me for saying the
But
guy's
I don't think he has to turn a corner. I think he's been playing great.
I think
and
he has turned
he
the
had a
corner.
couple of games. We'll
He had a
know
couple
he's
of
turned the
great
corner
games.
when he puts up a 20-15 against Memphis.
Okay,
That's
Gary.
a
It
different
just depends
corner,
where
though.
you're putting on the bar, where the expectations are for Valanciunas. And for me, a bigger question is going forward is how much the Toronto Raptors are going to rely upon Valanciunas to be that key cog. Because if you look at maybe a perceived weakness when it comes to the Toronto Raptors, it's a relatively thin front court. That's where they could use more depth. That's where they could potentially use more help. So I think that more onus is put on Valanciunas at this young stage of his career. So he kind of has to learn and go through some of those growing pains on the run.
Okay, Sweets, I want to throw this to you though. What is has he earned Casey's trust in the fourth quarter? Or what does he have to do?
There's a lot to do to earn Casey's trust. I mean, he likes the comfort of having some guys like Pat Patterson's been playing great down the
Chuck
stretch.
Hayes plays in the fourth.
Yeah, but he knows he plays within himself.
Yeah, no,
he knows what he's
absolutely.
going to get, right? And if he's not getting that rim protection inside, you know, he's not going to put him on the floor. He's been doing good down the stretch though, and that's what's good. He has to keep doing that. But I mean, it's 2 games.
It's 2 games.
And
It's
still
2 games.
building
But
from
it's
that,
improving.
It's not just Dwayne Casey's trust, it's the trust of his teammates as well.
Well, Kyle
and
Lowry.
Valanciunas getting in positions to get the ball because sometimes, again, they go to him early, but they go away from him late.
Kyle Lowry trusts Jonas
The
Valanciunas.
trust is more on defense and rebounding.
course.
Way more than it is about getting him the ball in
But when
certain
I'm seeing him, he's 6
situations.
for 7, 7 for 8 in a ball game, it's like keep on giving him the ball. And I know that the Raptors still focus. They're a perimeter team. Their backcourt is just so good, but that will add another layer to their attack.
Okay,
and make
let me
them a
jump
more
in here.
well-rounded
All right,
team.
let me jump in here. You just touched on the Toronto Raptors backcourt, currently playing without DeMar DeRozan. But I mean, when you look at it, they're 3-3 recently, and 2 other teams in this conference, the Atlanta Hawks and the Cleveland Cavaliers, streaking 8 games straight. So once DeMar does come back, we anticipated him to be a month and a week or so. Where do you see the Toronto Raptors standings-wise with these 2 teams playing exceptional basketball?
Right up there with the rest. The Raptors division is horrible.
Yeah,
Next
thank
best
goodness
is
for that
Brooklyn
division.
on
But the-
8
but
wins.
the conference.
Well, the conference, that's okay, but you know they're going to be in the top 3 when all's said and done in the East
Thanks
because
to
their
that
division
division
is
title.
so bad. So this is a good test period for Dwayne Casey to figure out what he has, and I think the signal of intent by starting Landry Fields against the Cleveland Cavaliers this week, he wants to keep that bench core together. Just he likes the mix of that unit. So that speaks volumes to me, but when push comes to shove, DeMar makes his team so much better. Like, the Raptors didn't go to the free throw line in the fourth quarter against the Cavs,
Yeah,
and
sure.
DeMar's been the guy that's been taking the ball to the hoop, and that's so important for this team, pulling out big wins.
You knew Cleveland was going to figure it out. You know there's some strong teams in the East, so I'm not worried. Obviously, the Raptors got to a great start. This is the best time for the injury to happen because they can figure it out. They can get better, and DeMar will be back down the stretch. So I'm not really overly concerned.
Could have definitely used DeMar in that fourth quarter to do some playmaking. They were doubling Lowry, get to the free throw
He
line,
was
no
gassed.
question about it. But to answer your question, do I think the Raptors are going to finish first in the East this year? Probably not. I don't know that that's even the team's goal. Dwayne Casey
That's the
stated.
question, though?
Well, he said, how are they going to do in the standings?
Yeah, where will they
considering-
end up?
Considering that Atlanta and Cleveland are moving up right now. I don't want to say Atlanta's a flash in the pan, but I don't think they're this good. It still really.
I'm with you on that, Atlanta.
It looks like Cleveland probably will have the best record.
Okay, wait.
And Washington is probably there too.
I know you could go all day. I know you could go all day.
He does all night on the radio.
This is on the side of Jerry because he's got some trade chips. He's got assets here and expiring contracts. He needs to decide if he wants to push for the now and how much that means he would sacrifice for the future.
No one's going to take Jeff Landry Fields. Like,
Okay, all right, slow down, Sweets. We still, you know, we did work on a script for the show. Okay, help me out here,
it's
bro.
great dialogue.
It is. Help me out here, though. All right. The next thing we want to talk about is the Toronto Raptors recently honored Tracy McGrady as part of the 20th anniversary. And we're going to harken back to the fact that there's this often quoted Slam Magazine article where Kobe Bryant said that if Vince and Tracy stayed together with the mix of veterans they had on that team, that was a championship team. Do you guys have belief in that statement? I believe in anything Kobe says, but I mean.
I'm with him. I'm honest.
Am I allowed to say hells yeah on
Yeah,
this
you
show?
can say, I don't know.
Of course they would. I'm not saying they would have won the title, but that team would have played in at least one NBA Finals. Maybe lose to the Lakers.
Look at how those guys
Absolutely they would have.
I'm more on this side. They would have probably made it to a NBA Finals, but I don't know about winning championships.
They made it to a conference final.
They're winning.
But they made it to a conference without McGrady.
No, that was the semi-conference semifinal.
Semifinal, sorry.
So,
but the trick to it is, both those guys' careers, they needed another guy. Both of them.
They
needed another guy to get
if McGrady was on the Raptors in 01, they'd probably beat Philadelphia and get to the East Finals.
All right.
I mean, that shows you how good they could have been.
Toronto was a destination with those two guys. Those two guys were two of the biggest talents at that time.
Yep.
And it gets your mind going of who else they could have put with them to finish the pie and make it a complete unit, man. It bothers me to this day how both situations ended. Just because of the potential, that's it. Just because of the potential.
The ex-Raptors, the catalog of the ex-Raptors is phenomenal in terms of talent.
No kidding.
All right, well, listen, we got to go to break, of course. We're going to wrap this thing up. I know we wanted to talk about Tracy McGrady thinking that he can still play basketball, but we got a whole lot of other things to talk about,
Keep thinking.
Including Derrick Rose and the rest of the NBA. We are returning with Canada's favorite home for talking hoops, Hangout.